We finally arrived 1/2 mile from the border. My driver was nervous when he stopped the car. "This is as far as I go," he said. I said goodbye and started walking towards the border. I knew it was a crime to photograph military facilities, so I kept my camera in my bag. I had been there trying to talk my way across for 2 hours when the French doctor and Austrian journalist arrived. To make a very long story short, none of us were allowed to enter. I found myself with the French doctor, who I affectionately called Frenchie, and the Austrian journalist, whose voice sounded like a shameless Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation. We were ordered to leave immediately by the military. Frenchie said he was going to stay and make one more attempt to gain access. I thought that was odd, but nevertheless, I bid the doctor good luck, and the Austrian and I began to walk back across the desert. With my last great act of defeat, I attempted to snap off a shot of where I had spent the last 4 hours. The facility was enormous, a border capable of 35,000 cars a day, yet while I was there, I could count all the cars that passed through on one hand. My new friend and I left the border of Gaza around 11 a.m. Just 15 minutes into the walk, and the temperature had already reached 100 degrees and was climbing. 2 hours later, we had made it 10 miles to a lone gas station. We replenished our water and calculated that at this rate, it would take us 2 days to get back to Jerusalem. We needed to pick up the pace. As we left the gas station, to our amazement, we ran into none other than Frenchie. He didn't have a drop of sweat on him. I asked him how he got there, but his already broken English seemed to have worsened since I saw him last. Nevertheless, the three of us set off down the road together. Our spirits were high as we tried to make the best of our situation. We were like 3 peas in a pod. We were having absolutely no luck trying to get a ride. The extended thumb, a staple of American hitchhikers, seemed to mean in Israel, "Please laugh at me as you drive by." After a while, it became obvious that we would not get a ride with the 3 of us standing there together. We would have to separate. We would put 1 mile of distance between each of us with better hopes of someone picking one of us up. The only problem is that we all wanted to be last in line, hence the first person that cars would pass. But before we could decide, or before I could even get my camera out, Frenchie conceded and walked off down the road. I thought that was very honorable of him, sacrificing for his fellow travelers. So after a quick 2-0 rock, paper, scissors victory by me over the Austrian, I found myself alone on the highway in the desirable position. Even though I was the first hitchhiker the cars would see, I was not able to persuade anyone for a ride. The heat was intense and penetrating. My backpack was digging deep into my shoulders, and I started to question my ability to make it in this heat. But just when I thought I couldn't endure anymore, I met the woman of my dreams. She fed me, gave me a bag of ice, and called for a taxi. And to my surprise, once more, as I was waiting for my taxi, along walked up. I had no idea how he got behind me. By my calculations, he should be at least 2 miles ahead of me, but yet I saw him come from the same direction I just came from. Then it dawned on me. I remembered an hour earlier on the side of the road hearing something in the bushes. At the time, I thought it was just another one of my hallucinations from the heat. The taxi ride back to Jerusalem would cost 400 shekels. I asked Frenchie if he had any money. He did not. After a very long, awkward pause, I got in my taxi and Frenchie started off down the road. Au carrefour de son amour, c'est le dernier comme toujours. Entre deux misères, il boit un verre. 5 miles down the road, I picked up the Austrian. I could have sold him that bag of ice for $1 million if he had it. Au carrefour de son amour, c'est le dernier pour toujours. We were finally on our way back to the city of Jerusalem. Oh yes, and Frenchie too.